Let me test here. I don't know if it's working or not. Maybe because it's not 12:05 yet. Okay, here we go. Testing. I don't know if it's working or not. Maybe because it's not 12:05 yet. Okay, here we go. It sounds okay. It's kind of echoey in here just because of the room that I'm in. But I'm going to be doing an art stream tonight. This will be my first stream. I've been working on these Doge NFT art things before. The final product looks something like this. This is my OpenSea. I'm calling them Doge Tendo games. And they're different cartridges. And they're basically just parodies of well-known or sometimes not so well-known games. See if it loads here. My internet is kind of crappy now. It's probably because I'm streaming. Let's see how this actually works here. It's struggling. Wow. It's usually never this slow. Maybe my internet's just not good enough to stream. Oh, hey. I see you're in the chat, Sojin. Yes, I don't know if my internet's going to work that good, but I don't think I'll need it that much because I'll just be on this one page the whole time. But that's definitely going to be a problem later on for certain things. But we'll try to work around it here. Need it that much because I'll just... Okay. So I'm going to be working on this game today. It's Extreme Sports by Way Forward. I've already started working on it here. Like I got the background and the line art and stuff. So I got to be coloring it. I'm probably not going to do the background characters or anything like that. It's probably just going to be him as Doge in the middle. It'll probably say something like Extreme Doge. So I'm going to go ahead and just start on it now and see where this goes. So I need a Doge head. So I'm going to grab one real quick here. The internet seems to be working fine now, so I don't know what was going on earlier. Maybe it's just OpenSea. OpenSea doesn't want to work that good on it. So this looks so stupid. But this is how I do it. I normally just take things and position them and trace them to an extent. I need to lower this. Uh-oh, getting some text here. Oh. Sojin is going to bed. Yeah, this was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I thought I might as well kind of show my creative process here. And I'm probably not going to be leaving these on the channel. I'll probably be unlisting these and then just putting them in a playlist in some form or fashion. Let's see. I don't want his head to be too big, but I don't want it to be too small either. I don't know. Does that look right? Just cut this off here for a second. Oops. Eh, looks all right. Let's just try it and see how it looks here. I think I'm going to angle it a little bit more. All right, start tracing it now. Oops. So you want to do no fill, and stroke will be black so that you get a black line for the pen. Oh, struggling with it here. Hold on. We got one eye. There's really no way for me to see the chat either, so if anyone pops in and I don't say anything, I apologize in advance. It's just the way that my whole setup is right now, so it's not convenient for that. I wish I had a separate monitor, but the way that I have everything set up right now, I'm actually like in a it's a makeshift like standing desk. I literally just have my laptop balancing on some books right now on a bookshelf because I'm too cheap to buy a standing desk. But for what it is, it works pretty well. It just looks funny. Kind of like this picture. Okay. Try to do the curve of the head there. Try to get his ear just right. His ears aren't too pointy. They're a little bit rounded off. Yes, I can't make his head too big there. Hold on. Yeah, his head's going to need to come in a little bit more. Kind of like curved in like that. Because he definitely has a fat head, but it's not that fat. Okay. And it looks all right. It just it looks so out of place. Like just his body on his head. It kind of works though for what it is. Just got to do his mouth. I did a Resident Evil one recently, and his head looks so. It's the same kind of look. It just looks weird. Like he, it's just a fat head on a body. I don't know. It's just it's funny to me. Yeah, I guess that works. So we're going to merge. Well, let's not merge it just yet. Let's clean up some of this stuff because the lines overlap here. So this layer here is that line. Yeah, I guess that works. I also made his hands more like claws so that it's more dog-like instead of like a human. All right, so now we're going to merge all the layers. And then we're going to start coloring in our character. Just going to check some of the colors here. So he's got like a red. I'm going to create a color palette in one layer. Yellow. It's kind of an interesting color design. It's all primary colors, red, yellow, blue. I just noticed that. And a little bit of black. But that's kind of an interesting design that they chose for this character. I thought about including the goggles on the Doge too. I think I'm going to leave it out just for this artwork here. I'm also going to take the red from the skateboard and the yellow as well. They look like they're pretty similar though. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start coloring here. Oops. Coloring can be pretty tedious, but I don't know. I don't mind it sometimes. Sometimes I just want to get it over with, and other times I don't mind taking my time and just kind of enjoying the process. Just fill it in here like this. Okay, so this is also red here. This is probably pretty boring to watch. I guess if you're at home and you're getting ready to sleep, this might be a good way to put you to sleep. Some ASMR type stuff. I'm not going to be doing no voices though. Yeah, his vest is like yellow and black. Kind of like Team X-Blade from the Disney movie Brink. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, sound off in the comments. because that movie is pretty good. That was a childhood favorite. I used to watch it with my sister all the time on Disney Channel. That the one X Blades dude looks like Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. It's always important to save your work because sometimes you can lose it. That's words of wisdom right there. I'm just gonna name it whatever. Doge Skateboard. His head almost looks a little small now. Is it just me, or is his head a little bit too small? I don't know. I'm not gonna redo it. I think it's fine for what it is. It's partially the perspective too, because his feet and the skateboard is closer to the viewer than the rest of his body, like his torso and his head and everything. So that's why it looks kind of funky. That's okay though. And instead of black, I'm gonna go with just a really dark gray for his vest. I guess this is a vest. I don't know. It might be a vest. Okay. Just got it colored along the lines here. There's no outline on the vest here, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. That's not a big deal. My laptop's getting a little loud here. Like it can't handle some photoshopping. I don't know why. It might also be because I'm streaming. That may also impact the CPU in some way. I probably should just get a direct Ethernet cable to my laptop for streaming. That way I have a better connection because this is all wireless right now. Unfortunately, I don't have a Ethernet port on this laptop, so I will have to buy an adapter for that. And I'm kind of curious as to how much that would cost, but I'm sure it's not that much money. I already had to buy a Wi-Fi adapter because my Wi-Fi just one day stopped working, and I don't know why. I tried turning off the Wi-Fi switch, and that didn't help. I tried bringing up drivers from the manufacturer's website, which I believe was Dell, because this is a Dell laptop. And I tried installing new drivers for the wireless card for inside the laptop, and that also didn't work. So I ended up just buying an adapter for Wi-Fi because I'm the type of person who I just don't want to deal with things, you know. I don't want to deal with technology and stuff, even though I'm in IT, which is ironic. But I just want to, I want the problem resolved, and I want to move on with my life. You know what I mean? And if that means spending $25 on an adapter and it works, I'm fine with that. I literally don't care. uh, there's just life is too short to be messing around with stuff too much. Sometimes you have to troubleshoot issues, and I understand that. But if I can just spend $20 and the problem goes away, I'm cool with that as well. All right. I'm going to start coloring in his elbow pad. I'm trying to think of when I wore elbow pads. I think I wore them for roller hockey. I used to play roller hockey when I was a kid. It didn't last very long. I wasn't that good at it, but I still tried my best. Just wasn't that much good at it. I think I normally just wore knee pads whenever I skateboarded. There was one time, though, where I was skateboarding on my porch. This was a long time ago when I was a kid. And I think I leaned back a little bit too much. And I fell over and landed right on my tailbone. And that was the worst pain I've experienced in my life. I guess I got the wind knocked out of me because like you can't breathe at all when that happens. It's incredibly painful. I think it only lasted for like a day or two though. I mean, the initial pain lasted for an hour, and then I was still sore for a day. If the initial pain lasted for 24 hours or more, that would be absolute hell. But after that, I kind of just I didn't skateboard as much. I was too afraid. I think with some things, it gets to a point where you have to admit you're not good at something. And, you know, it's one thing if you really enjoy something and you're not good at it. I mean, by all means, keep on doing it. But if you're not enjoying yourself as much and you're terrible at it, uh, it might be time to just stop doing that hobby. And that's kind of what skateboarding was to me at that point because I wasn't really getting anywhere with it. I was tired of falling all the time. And the cost benefit analysis with that was it's not good. It's like I'm barely having any fun and I'm just falling on my ass all the time. I couldn't even ollie. I practiced ollieing for a month or two and I just never got it. There's just some things you can't do. And that's fine. Not everyone has to be good at something. It's okay to suck at things. I think that's kind of what keeps people from trying new things because they're afraid they're going to suck. And most likely you will suck at first because you're new to it, whatever it is. But eventually, if you practice, you may get somewhere with it. I think people struggle with that a lot. They have they have an ego issue or something to where they can't struggle at something. They have to instantly be good or they have to instantly be progressing in some way. I know a few people like that. I'm not going to name them. I think a lot of it is the internet and the need for instant gratification, like instantly becoming good at something. I think that's partially what it is. People are afraid to struggle. They're afraid to fail, and sometimes you have to fail over and over again to reach success. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. Kind of like with the skateboarding analogy, when Tony Hawk first landed the 900 on TV, I think it was the X Games. It might have been like 1999 or 1998 or something like that. It was in the late 90s, I believe. And he fell. I think he tried 8 or 9 times before he finally got it. And that kind of shows you that you have to be willing to fail at something in order to achieve something. Because even people look at Tony Hawk as like, such a legend, but he had many struggles. Now, Rodney Mullen, on the other hand, I almost never see him fall. He's just next level wizardry right there. I don't know how he does it. He does all of those crazy street tricks. I think I have seen a montage of him falling before, so I'm lying there. So even he falls. Even he's not perfect. I think Rodney has done TED Talks before about skating and innovation and that type of thing. I'm not really into TED Talks that much. I used to watch them back in the day, but I kind of got burnt out on them. I'm sure there's some good ones out there, though. I didn't really outline the glove here, so I'm just going to try to do imaginary outlines for part of it. So it should go like something like that. Well, I guess I could just see the original art. Oh no, the whole thing is his glove. So I will just do this. I wonder if anyone's actually watching this right now. Because it is 12:30 where I'm at, so it's not really the ideal prime time for streaming. But the issue is, I work evenings, and I get out really late. So I can either stream now, like at midnight, or in the mornings at 10. I thought about doing this at 10, but I don't know. I might have some other stuff planned for tomorrow. So I figured I would do this tonight and just kind of test it. See where things go. Okay. Just gotta color that in here. It's starting to come together a little bit. Oh, I forgot to outline the stripe on his pants. I can do that real quick here. All right. Let's just, okay, it goes like that. So the line will go out a little bit. Something like that. And we're going to merge that with the main line art layer. Okay. So I think we're going to start on the pants now. Let's just do blue for that. Oh, I am coloring on the line art layer, and you don't want to do that. So I went ahead and made a new layer here. Started coloring. I'm using a mouse, by the way. I'm not using a tablet. I can't really use a tablet in with this setup that I'm currently using. I might in the future, but I kind of like using the mouse. I don't know. Because when you're using the pen tool, the mouse is kind of better. Because you just kind of click on the different points that you want to connect and just make the lines that way. Obviously, though, everyone's different. Oops. Messed up right at the end there. That's okay. Okay. Filled it in. Now we just got to color in the outline here. I'm wondering if these pants that he's wearing are kind of like supposed to be Jinko jeans. I don't know if anyone's remembered those. They were the huge pants from the 90s. They were the giant jeans. I didn't have a pair, but my brother did. They were kind of goofy looking. It seemed like the loose clothing that was what was in style back then. And now, basically since the early 2010s, it's more, everything is more tight fitting. So I'm wondering, people always say trends come and go. So I'm wondering if the loose clothing will ever come back again. I'm sure it will eventually. Yeah, the pendulum always swings back and forth when it comes to stuff like that. I remember when those thick framed glasses became popular. That was more so in the early 2010s, but I had some in like 2009 before they were cool. So it was kind of just kind of a funny thing. They're more for hipsters, but the hipsters didn't adopt them until way later. I guess emo kids kind of used them too, but I guess that was more earlier on. That was like mid 2000s. It was also kind of the same thing with beards. Like beards used to be not cool, and then in the early 2010s, up until now, they became cool again, and it was in style to have a beard. It's kind of funny how that works out. All right, I'm doing his rolls now, his pants rolls. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I noticed the ads on the right side of the screen for Photopea just disappeared. Sometimes there's ads here and sometimes there's not. They can get kind of distracting sometimes. But Photopea has to make their money, so I understand. This is a great in browser tool. I love this a lot. It's a very simplified version of Photoshop, but it gets the job done for me at least. I really like it. I love this way better than Gimp. Like I modded Gimp to be more Photoshop like, and I still hate it. I don't know. There's just something about Gimp that I hate. I I can't stand using that program. It's something about like the shortcuts and how everything works. I'm just not a fan of it. I always find myself struggling with it a lot. Like I'm fighting with the program. I know what I want it to do, but I can't get it to do it. And that is incredibly frustrating. It's kind of the same thing with Blender because I've been learning a lot of Blender since I'm doing these 3D models. And that program is just hair pullingly frustrating. But it's open source, it's free. I can't really complain that much. And it's a very powerful program. So it's really hard to complain. I remember I did my first animation in that and it took probably a week because I was and it's only like a 6-second animation of a room and the camera is spinning around and showing the room and there's pictures on the wall in the room and that just took forever because I had to watch a million different YouTube tutorials to figure everything out. It's very frustrating. And then on top of that, it was on the old computer that I was using, so it took probably like 15 hours to render, which is ridiculous. The rendering times on this computer that I have is pretty good. This is a Dell SEG5 5505, I think. I got it last year, and this is a pretty darn good laptop. Like, I really like this a lot. All the emulation stuff that I've done on it runs pretty good. I haven't done too many PC games, and the PC games that I play aren't that demanding, but everything I've thrown at this, it's handled pretty good. And I got this laptop for like $900. I feel bad for a lot of people looking for computers now because I think with the chip shortage, everything's a little bit more expensive. And before all this even happened, laptops were already expensive. So it's sort of it's just a crappy situation for people. Yeah, this looks not bad. The colors are so bright. I really do like the primary color aesthetic that they chose here. It's pretty interesting. All right, I'm going to do the skateboard now, and I believe the skateboard is just red and yellow. So I will grab that here. And we're going to start coloring the skateboard. Back when I was a kid, my brother had an airbrush set, and I remember him airbrushing the skateboard that we had. I think he was really into doing stencils, and he did, I think it was like a scorpion stencil on the skateboard, which looked pretty cool. Looks pretty edgy. That would be kind of cool to mess around with airbrush equipment. It's kind of an obscure medium. Like, not too many people use airbrushes that much. It used to be very big in the 80s, and I guess kind of in the 90s. Even in the 90s, it sort of died off because computers were taking over and traditional art. Traditional art was around, but computers were kind of taking up the role for that when it came to design, like corporate design and everything. That looks pretty good. I'm wondering if there will ever be a reactionary art movement where traditional art came back. Like traditional drawing, painting, watercolor, all that stuff. Because it seems like computers really did just take over. And, I can't blame them. It's probably cheaper to produce computerized art. It's easier to mass produce, even in like cartoons and everything. So it's hard to really blame them. I think with most of the time, the way that cartoons were made back then, the keyframes were drawn in America, but the actual like celluloid animation frames were all made in usually South Korea. Because I remember watching a behind the scenes thing for Ed and Eddie, and they were showing how the cartoon was made, and they did the storyboards and everything and the keyframes. And then once they had everything put together with the keyframes, they just shipped it all to South Korea, and then South Korea just they may have had a studio there, and they just did all the hard, laborious work of painting all of the celluloids. That kind of takes some of the magic out of it, because at that point, is it really an American animation? You know, I guess creatively it is. You know, they're writing the character designs, but the actual animation itself was made by South Koreans. So how can you really call that an American animation? I don't know. But I get it. It's probably just to save on costs. I actually have a few animation celluloids from Rocco's Modern Life. One of them is from, I think, one of the episodes from season one, but the cool one that I have is one where Rocco is yellow, and it's from the pilot episode, because he was originally supposed to be yellow, and then they changed. It was some corporate decision that they had to change him to tan for some reason. I want to say it was for merchandising or something. I can't remember. But I believe the pilot episode was entirely animated here. I could be wrong on that, but I think the creator of the show, Joe Murray, talked about it on his website or in some video or something. So it's pretty cool to have something like that. And then I also have the I was going to say certificate of deposit. No, that's not it. That's a banking thing. I have the certificate of authenticity. That's what it is. And it has information for the show and the Nickelodeon logo and everything. It was expensive to get those framed. I got them framed from Michael's Arts and Crafts, and it was like, I want to say like $150 per frame or something. It might have even been more than that. I don't remember. That's some BS though. That's so much money. But I had them for so long. Like I got them back in 2012 or 2013, something like that. And I had them just sitting in the package that I received them in for years. I'm glad they didn't get damaged in any way. But I finally decided to frame them, and it was just a very expensive thing to do. That's how it is, though. At least the frames look nice. They're like a metallic white frame. So that's pretty cool. Just coloring the skateboard reminded me of one of my friends, who I'm not going to name, but I remember he was telling me when I first met him, his teeth were so messed up, and he eventually got some dental work done and got it fixed. But I remember it was due to a skateboarding accident on a half pipe. That's gotta suck so bad. I'm glad he got his teeth finally fixed though. if Sojin Netos is watching this, he probably knows who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name him, though. Yeah, skateboarding is just so dangerous. But if you enjoy it, you know, the more power to you, I suppose. After skateboarding, I just rode my bike everywhere instead. And that lasted for a long time. Because I didn't even drive until I was like 25 or so. I just biked everywhere and took the bus because it was cheaper. I saved so much money from not paying car insurance. And the bus system where I'm living is pretty good. And because I was going to school at the time, I got free bus rides. So that was pretty dope. All right, I'm going to save it here because it's been a while since I saved. Do I want to replace it? Yes. Okay. I do kind of miss riding the bus in a way, but I do remember I used to get sick a lot on the bus. Not on the bus, but from it because of all the germs from people. It was bad. Like, I got a really bad virus one time, and I'm pretty sure it was from the bus. It seemed like the workers there didn't clean enough. They probably only they're probably supposed to be cleaning at the end of the route each time, and they're probably not doing that. They're probably only getting cleaned once a day at the end of the day. I imagine. I imagine they're not. They're probably careless and not even cleaning it at the end of each route. And it's no disrespect to bus drivers or anything. I'm sure, you know, they're stressed out. They got to deal with unruly passengers and all that nonsense. So, in a sense, I don't really blame them if they're not cleaning their stuff. It is just one thing to look out for, though, if you do decide to ride the bus. And I'm sure it's different from city to city, too. Each city has their own policies for that kind of stuff. And with the pandemic, they're probably cleaning a lot more often now, just like with everywhere else. Okay, I'm going to grab the gray here for the trucks of the skateboard. And create a new layer. Let's start with this. Since this is on the bottom layer, I can kind of just color it in recklessly a little bit. Still got to be careful with the wheels. The problem with this gray is it really blends into the background, so I can barely see it. So that's not good. It's like a difference between gray and then a slightly bluer gray. I think that's colored in. It looks colored in. Okay. Here, let's just turn this off for a second. Oh, it's the white background. Is it? No. So it's really just, it's gray and, against a white background, so it's very difficult to see. All right, now I'm going to do the wheels. I think I'm going to do the wheels a slightly darker color of red so that they pop out a little bit more. Yeah, that looks pretty good. His skateboard reminds me of like mustard and ketchup, just with those colors. Stupid. This whole design is very early 90s, but I think this game came out in 2000, so it's sort of behind the times a little bit. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's still a pretty cool design. I think this game is supposed to be part RPG as well, so it's like it's an extreme sports RPG. There's skateboarding, there's snowboarding. I think there might be like pilot wings type stuff in it, like skydiving. I'm not sure. There's something like that though. And I believe this game was actually re-released from Limited Run Games. They did a Game Boy Color re-release of it, and maybe even a PC release. I can't remember, but I thought that was kind of interesting. This this game was made by Way Forward, and Way Forward has been working with Limited Run Games for a lot of different things, so it kind of makes sense as to why they would re-release something like that. Oh yeah, I gotta color this one in too. I think once I finish coloring the character, I'm gonna do a bathroom break here in a little bit, and maybe get some water after that. And then after that, we're gonna finish up the logos and the background itself and see where we're at from there. I don't know if I'm going to add shading to this. I might just leave it as is, flat. I mean, it looks pretty cool already. I finished most of the line art at work earlier today because I have a lot of downtime at work. So I thought I'd not knock it out, but at least start another art piece in this series that I'm doing. because you might as well. I mean, I'm just sitting there. There's nothing to do. Nothing was assigned to me. So why not, you know? Okay, let's go ahead and color in the skin tone. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the skin tone from the Doge character himself, just so that it's semi-realistic. We might even go a little bit lighter. Excuse me. All right, let's start coloring this. I'm just going to do a separate layer for the eyes and the nose. So I'm not going to worry about coloring those in. Okay. Now we can just fill it in and then do the outlines from there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Do this. And his fingers. I think I already said this before, but I tried to give him claws. So he's not as human-like. Here, I can make the brush bigger here. Fill it in, okay. His colors remind me of something now that I'm actually seeing it. I want to say maybe Mighty Max. I don't even remember if that was a show or not, or if it was just like a toy line. I remember it was, I'm pretty sure it was like a toy line for boys, kind of like Polly Pocket. It was like the boys' version of Polly Pocket, where it came with Mighty Max, and there was a little world that you could fold out and open up that way. By the way, I apologize. I apologize if I'm like mumbling or incoherent because it is late. Like I'm probably gonna go to bed here in 2 hours. So I apologize in advance if I sound stupid. Okay. So we just got to do his eyes. And I usually won't go for a pure white. I'll go for an almost pure white for the white part of his eyes. Oops. Okay. And then do like a dark gray for the black part. And just grab the colors here for the other eye. And then do his nose. Okay. And then also, we're going to take the pure white and go over the line art, make a separate layer here just to make his eyes a little bit shiny so they pop a little bit more. Yeah, so I think that looks all right. his head looks dumb, but that's just how it is with these character parodies that I'm doing. It doesn't look as ridiculous as the Resident Evil one, I think, but it works. So I'm gonna do a bathroom break here, and after that, we're gonna work on some of the background and then the logo itself, and go from there. I don't think we have that much left to do, so it shouldn't take that long. So I will be right back. Here. All right. So I'm back. Got me a water here. I'll be taking a few sips. I do like how this is coming along. Just out of curiosity, oops, I just punched my laptop. That's not good, but I think it's okay. I'm going to look up Mighty Max because I was talking about him earlier. Mighty Max. Oh, never mind. It doesn't really look like him. The color scheme kind of matches. He's got the red, yellow, or the red, yellow, and blue. But other than that, there's really not a lot similar with his design. I guess they both kind of have the genes. My brother actually had this growing up, the Mighty Max snake, and it opened up. There's a little thing here that you could explore. I think we were missing the scorpion though, so it's kind of an interesting thing. It's a blast from the past. All right. Let's get back into this now. So what do I want to do first? I think I want to add the road. And it's weird because in this cover art, he's skating on water, which doesn't make sense. He's not Jesus, you know. So I'm going to give him a road because that actually makes more sense. So let's see here. Let's take the pen tool and kind of just give it a curve here. And I don't want to do the stroke. I want to fill it. Okay. Let's move this all the way down because we don't want this in front of our character. We want it behind him because it's technically part of the background. And let's go ahead and make it gray because it's supposed to be a road. Not too dark, not too light either. And because it's a road, we have to add some yellow lines. So let's create another layer here. Start adding the lines. That doesn't look right. So the lines have to, they get bigger as they're getting closer to you. So they have to start very narrow and get much wider. So let's see here. No, that doesn't make sense. Hold on here. Yeah, I mean, that kind of looks okay. But it needs to be facing more away from him. It's too up front. So let's get rid of that. That kind of works. Oh, shoot. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, that works. Now we just need to create another line. Yeah, that looks okay. I think for what we're going for here, it works fine. We just have to add on a little bit to this line so that it covers the full canvas. There we go. Okay. So we have our two lines here. And I'm going to select the space and then inverse it. And I also need that yellow color that I was mentioning before. color it in. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that looks not bad for what we're going for here. It gets the job done, I guess. And then there's also some trees in the background. I guess I can do that. Maybe some mountains. So we just gotta create a few jagged lines, and then we have a mountain there. Maybe another mountain like this. That other mountain is a little bit too big. Let's redo that. That kind of works. And then we're going to merge the layers. Then select, then inverse. Let's make the mountains kind of a light gray. I don't want them to pop out too much. They kind of blend in with the road though, so I don't care for that. Maybe let's try a darker color. That looks okay. I think, well, it kind of looks weird because his wheel is like right on top of the one mountain there. So I don't know if I like that. Let's just try moving it over a little bit. Or better yet, let's try making the mountain brown, like a slight brown color. See how that looks. That looks all right, I guess. And then they also had some trees, so let's do some trees. Just got to get a nice brown color here. Nah, that kind of sucks. Hold on. That sucks too. Let's try to do a few branches. Oops. No, I don't want a triangle. Then we just have to make the main part of the tree By the main part, I mean like the leaves, obviously. Listen, I'm tired, okay? Oh, God. Okay. Let's turn this green. And then turn the rest of the stuff brown. Let's actually go ahead and just combine the layers here for the rest of the tree. And then make it brown. I guess that looks okay. I just got to add a few more now. This part's kind of tedious, but I guess you can at least still be somewhat creative with how you outline the branches and everything. I used to draw a lot of trees in my old art book from high school, and the way that I drew the trees was I would draw each individual leaf, and it took forever, but it looked really crazy looking. I don't know why I drew it that way, but that's just something I did. Can't really overlap it once you've made the initial shape. Okay. I guess that works. It's kind of crappy. Nah, let's yeah, let's just get rid of it. I hate it. It's not wanting to delete. Here. I'll just delete the two. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's make it a big tree. You can't make it too big though, because it'll look closer to the viewer and it might throw off the perspective a little bit. So there's always a balancing act with that. Because even the slightest thing can throw off the perspective if you become too careless about things. Because this whole scenery is supposed to be far away in the distance, closer to the horizon. So you have to keep that in mind whenever you're drawing anything. Yeah, that works, I guess. Let's see. Just have to combine all the layers here. Merge it. Well, no, let's not merge it, because I have to color in the leaves separately. Let's do that. And then combine the branches and the stem. Is that what you call it? The stem? I don't know. The main part of the tree. Oops. Let's take the brown, fill it in. Okay. That looks all right. I think we need to add one more. My art teacher from high school always said, go with odd numbers when it comes to multiple things because it looks better. And I think she's right in a lot of regards. Because if you just have 2 or 4 things, it's not. I guess it technically would be symmetrical. Obviously, it depends on the artwork and the design of itself, but it just depends. I do think odd numbers in general look better for certain things. Oops. Let's try that again. Even with the branches here, just having the 2 branches looks kind of weird. It's always good to add a third one. But it kind of doesn't make sense in this regard because I'm probably just going to cover it up with the leaves. And the other 2 just have the 2 branches as well, so I'm kind of not following my own rules there, but that's okay. So we're going to add the rest of the tree here. Let's try that again because that looked kind of crappy. Let's try that. It's very flat on the top, like a flat top. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air style. Pretty sure that's what that haircut's called. Gerald from Hey Arnold had that hairstyle. Also Etika, R.I.P. That guy was funny, man. I miss his streams. He was one of the best streamers. It's really sad what happened to him. That was over 2 years ago now when he died. It's a sad situation. I think even they were saying his brother committed suicide years before. So I really can't imagine how Etika's mom feels. The fact that she lost 2 sons to suicide. That's got to be awful. And especially with social media and the pressure of everyone. And I think he really cracked under the pressure of everyone. And some people just don't need to be on social media. And Etika was one of them, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. This looks all right. You get the idea that it's some trees and the mountains in the background. Let's start on the logos now. The trees and stuff don't even matter because I'm probably just going to cover that up with a logo anyway. Let's go ahead and combine the line art and all of the colors that I colored in here for the Doge skater. So we'll take that and then all of this, merge layers. I think that's all of them. So we can move him around. I kind of want him more centered because he's in the air and he's jumping. He's about to land on the road there. But I also want enough room for the logos on top. I think that looks fine the way it is. Yeah, it looks all right. I might also add the rated D for Doge thing on the bottom left-hand corner, so I got to be careful with that. But we can always change the placement of everything once we have it all in all ready and good to go. So let's go ahead and start on the logo here. Extreme Sports. I'm going to have it as Extreme Doge. So I already have, or I thought I did. All right, yeah, here's the font. I'm not going to download the font. I'm just going to copy it from here. So we're going to do Extreme Doge. Let's make it as big as possible without it cutting off. All right, that's pretty good. And before I do that, I will save this. It's always important to save. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our font here. Let's open up the snipping tool. Let's grab this text here. Just copy and paste it. And we're going to get rid of the white background for it. Oops, forgot to get rid of that. Okay. I'm going to change the hue saturation, bring the lightness all the way down, because sometimes there's artifacts in the outlines of the font and you don't want that. Sometimes they're very hard to see, but if you adjust it to completely black, it sort of it darkens out the artifacts and it makes everything look really clean and smooth. So that's what you want to do. Oh wow, the font is a lot bigger, but we can work with that. Just make the text bigger here. Yeah, Extreme. I think that's about right. Oops. Oh shoot, I'm moving the background here. Got to be on the correct layer. Extreme Doge. Yeah. It throws me off because the X is just so huge. But that's okay. Let's actually cut and then paste so it's on a separate layer here. So the Extreme is on one layer, the Doge is on the other. And then we're going to enlarge this so that it's roughly the same size. That looks all right. Let's get rid of our color palette here. I don't need that anymore. I think it could be centered a little bit better. Let's move this slightly to the left. There's also a box, or yeah, some more text. 5 extreme sports in one. I don't know if I'll have enough room to include that in here, and I think I'm just going to include the main title and just the different logos and stuff in this. So let's go ahead and just leave that out. I'm going to grab the yellow here, and now that I have the placement where I want it for the fonts, I'm going to merge them both together so they're both on the same layer. I'm going to select all the negative space and then inverse it and then color our font here with the yellow. That looks all right. And then, hold on. Let's grab the color here for that. Okay, so that's a dark. It's a dark but bright blue. And what we're going to do is do the same thing as before. Select all of the negative space in the font. And then inverse it so that the font is selected. I'm almost considering enlarging the X in the original, just like the original logo. Should I do that? Let me try it real quick just to see how it looks. I'm going to use the Polygonal select tool. Maybe not that far. It's not working the way I want it to. I have to get this just right, or else it'll look weird. I can't see my cursor here. What is going on? Oh, shoot, it's frozen. The whole thing just froze. Crap. Let's just wait and see if it responds. Oh, here we go. Okay, thank God. See, that's why you save, you know, just in case something like that happens. I don't know. It looks kind of weird. I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Speaking of save, I'll go ahead and just save it now. Even though I just saved it a few minutes ago, it never hurts. Yes, I want to save over it. All right. Now back to what we were doing before. Let's just select all of the negative space. And then inverse it. Let's go to select, modify border. We're going to do 16 pixels for the border. I'm going to go back to the original logo here, grab the blue color. Okay. And behind, we're going to do a new layer behind it and then color it in with that blue. Wow, that blue looks really dark. I don't know if I care for that. Let's go with a lighter blue. Just slightly lighter. And then also I want the border to be a lot bigger. So we're going to go back to select border. Instead of 16, let's do something big. Let's do like 32. Okay. Create a layer. All right. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It pops a lot more. I like that a lot, actually. I'm just looking at the original logo here. There's also a drop shadow. And some of this stuff is colored in. I'm wondering if I want to do that. Let's just see how it looks. Let's take the polygonal tool, create some lines. And then color it in. That looks all right. Still kind of thinking about it. Because the part between the X and the D isn't colored in, so I don't know if I care for that. I think it looks okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and stick with that. Going back to the original logo here, let's go ahead and add that drop shadow. So what we're going to do with that, let's go ahead and combine the yellow and the blue. So now it's all on one layer. We're going to go ahead and duplicate it. Take the one layer, make it entirely black, and then we can just offset it so that there's now a drop shadow. We don't want the drop shadow to be entirely black, so we can move the opacity to maybe 30%, 50, something like that. Yeah, that looks good. It kind of pops. So let me go ahead and just grab the Doge, rated D for Doge logo next. So I will go ahead and open up the Resident Evil one and just grab it from here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now we have to, I want to add the Way Forward logo. It wasn't originally on the artwork, but I kind of want to add it just to add it. And it's not going to be the original Way Forward logo. I'm going to recreate it as Doge Forward, I guess. So let's go ahead and search for it on the Google. Let's go ahead and do a font check on this to see if we can find a similar font. If you want to get into graphic design or like doing different things, What the Font is a really good resource for that, because you can take screenshots of certain fonts and find very similar ones. So it's really handy to use. So I'll take that, upload the Way Forward image, and see what we got here. Way Forward. It might be a custom. Yeah, see, we're not getting what we want here. None of these look similar at all. This one kind of does, but it's kind of janky. Let's just type Doge Forward. See what it looks like. let's go ahead and just edit it and see if I can just mess with it from there. Wow, that's really small. Let's see if I can get a bigger image here. Wow, they really don't have like an their own uploaded logo that's high res, you know? Let's just take this one and then I'll remove all that other stuff. I don't know why this says 1990 to 2015. Way Forward is still around. They're still making games, so I don't know why that says that. It's weird. Yeah, there we go. That works. So let's go ahead. So how are we going to do this here? I can make this Y into a G pretty easily. Just by taking, I could take this part, copy paste, so it's on its own, layer here. I can rotate it so that it's a G. It's kind of janky looking. Let's try and see if we can fix this. Oh shoot. Hold on. Where's the layer for, okay, here we go. So this is the layer for the logo. Okay. So everything's on top. Okay. Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a second. Let's shave a little bit off there. And then we're going to, on our main layer, let's go ahead and combine both the layers and then select the G, select border. Let's do 24 pixels. That kind of works. It's a little bit too much. Let's do 21 pixels. That's a little bit better. All right, I'm going to select the black. And then underneath, create a new layer. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought it froze a second again. Hold on. Here we go. So now there's a border around the G, so it looks legit, but we still have to fix the rest of this here. So let's take the D, copy it. Oops. Let's try that again. I was on the wrong layer. And then move it over. Here, I'm not going to drag it with the mouse. I'm just going to move it with the cursor so that it's all parallel on the same line. Let's go ahead and just get rid of that W behind it. Okay. Oops, got rid of the D. All right. So now we got DAG forward. We need the O and the G. Oops, moved up the logo there. Didn't want to do that. All right. Let's move this up. I almost want this behind the rest of the logo so it doesn't clip into the G. Let's go ahead and just, while we're at it, let's just get rid of the A. Oops. All right. And we'll take the O. Copy, paste, and move it over. Okay. Let's go ahead and just move it to the right next to the G, and then also move the D over. So now we have dog forward. Now we just need to make an E. And the way that I'll make an E is just take the A and flip it over. That's so genius. I'm just kidding. So we're going to take that. We're going to need to move all three letters over to the left so that we can fit the E in. So let's go ahead and just do that now. So I'll move the D. And the O. And then I will have to make G its own layer so I can move it. Oops, wrong layer. Oh, the G isn't, crap. I think I messed up here. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. This is really confusing here. Okay. Let's combine both of these. So the G's all one thing. And then combine it with the black layer. I don't even know how that got separated, to be perfectly honest with you. So this is getting hella confusing with all these layers. Okay. For those of you thinking you want to go into graphic design, I would think long and hard about that, man. Because a lot of this stuff is just, it's repetitive, it's tedious. If you think you're doing super creative things, Perhaps you are to an extent, but not to the extent that you're thinking of. A lot of it is just like the equivalent of working in a sweatshop, it seems like, because you just have to pump out logo after logo, all that stuff. It just doesn't seem that fun to me. And I know a lot of people who went into graphic design too. But if that's your passion and you think you have the drive for it, by all means go for it. But I don't think it's as fun as people think it is. Okay, let's move the E. Yeah, that this looks jacked up, but you know what? It's whatever. It works. You get the idea. I'm pretty sure that's readable. So, Doge forward. The only thing I would fix is that O. The O needs to be a little bit more. It should have the black background behind it. That should be easy to do. All you have to do is just create a circle. Make sure your selection is behind it and create it that way. Okay, yeah, this is good enough. I think this is as good as it's going to get. I'm not going to spend hours on one logo like that. Okay, let's move it to the corner here. Let's try enlarging it a little bit. I kind of don't want it cutting off his skateboard though. That kind of works. It doesn't really pop. Maybe we could add a drop shadow to it. I also don't like how this D kind of clips off at the end, so I'm going to fix that. And we can do that by, again, doing a circular tool. And let's go behind it, create another layer, do black. Let's select the inverse, go back to the original layer, and then erase this crap. Okay. That looks a little bit better. Yeah, that works. Yeah, let's go ahead and add a drop shadow here. So we'll go ahead and duplicate the layer just like last time with the original logo. Make the one behind it completely black and then just offset it. Yeah, that looks better. It pops more. Although some of this has some artifacts, but we can just color over that with some black so it looks less crappy. And then there's also some artifacts around the logo. I don't know how that happens, but we can go ahead and erase that. And there we go. I think we're done. Let me take a look at the original art here. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's true to the original, but it still has its own unique flair to it. Oops, let's get rid of that. And then bring in the sky. Yeah, I think it looks okay. What do you guys think? Leave some comments down below to let me know. I think we're done here. It's 2 a.m. now. I guess I could kind of go over my process on how to make these into 3D cartridges. So I can do that now. We'll go ahead and save this as a PNG. Skateboard. I'll actually type it in correctly this time. Let's go ahead and open it up. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm just checking here, seeing if there's any mistakes, like obvious things that pop out to me. Everything looks good. I like it. I'm trying to think of what color cartridge I want this on. I think I might go with kind of a dark blue as part of the logo. Maybe a yellow. The yellow might look cool. Let's go ahead and mess with it here. So I've got Blender open. And I was working on something earlier. I want to see if, okay, so the space isn't green anymore. The workspace is green, but the actual space isn't, which is good. Let's import the Doge skateboard into Blender. Let's position it onto the cartridge. And scale it up just a little bit. Yeah, that more or less works. And I have to be really careful that it's actually on the cartridge. Sometimes it's just slightly floating above it. And I don't want that. So let's see how that looks. Render image. Yeah, that looks legit. It's pretty cool. I think I want to go with a blue cartridge. So let's change that here. Select the cartridge, go to the base color, and we're going to go with a darker blue. Something like that. Let's go to render. Yeah, that looks so good. I like that. It's like the Pokemon blue, but it's rad. It's extreme. It's pretty dope. I like that a lot. All right. So I got everything set up here. 0 to 300 frames. Each frame is, or each animation is 300 frames. It is 60 frames a second, so that would be 5 seconds for each animation. Let's go ahead and create a folder here for it, because we're going to be putting in all of our frames here. We'll call it Skateboard Doge. Let's take the file directory here, go to desktop, Skateboard Doge, accept, and then we're going to render the animation here. And this is what I mean, like the rendering times on this are pretty good. I like it a lot. It doesn't take that much time at all. While it's doing that, I'm going to be taking some water here. I've been thinking about putting stuff on the backs of the cartridges, but I don't know what, though. I'm not sure what I would do. Something needs to go on the back, though. Maybe like a signature or something like that. Like my signature 2021. I don't know. Okay. So that looks like it's done rendering. Let's go to our folder here. And I like to just hold down the right arrow key so that it plays to make sure it looks okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Sometimes there's a weird glare when it gets to this part and it sort of fades back in, but it looks like it didn't happen here. I really don't care for that when it happens. It's happened with a few of my cartridges, though. I'm wondering if it's the placement of the actual picture or what. I'm not sure, but it's good that it didn't happen here. All right. So now we have to make it into a GIF. And in order to do that, I open up Gimp. Let's see if it loads here. Sometimes it takes a little bit to load. This is Photo Gimp. As I was saying earlier, this is like a Photoshop mod of Gimp. And it works okay, but I'm still not a fan of it. I struggle with this program a lot. I think Photopea is much better to use. But this is good for making GIFs. Excuse me. Okay. Let's go ahead and import the first frame. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to import the rest of the frames. And this takes a long time. This takes like 20 minutes or so. So I may take a break here. I might even end the stream. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. Let me check the chat and see if anyone's in the chat. Just out of curiosity. Pulling up my phone here now. I'll just be on this one page the whole time. But that's definitely going to be a problem later on for certain things. But we'll try to work around it here. I'm reading the comments now. The commoner, who is that? The algorithms can't stop him. He's too into 90s nostalgia to ever worry about live chats. That's funny, man. I see Troy's in there. Rad dog. Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, I don't want to be distracted by my work. You know, I wish I had a separate monitor for the chat so I could just look to the side, but unfortunately, I don't have it set up that way yet. Oh, you played with your sister's Polly Pocket? My sister didn't have those, so I didn't. I don't really. I can't relate, but we did have that. The Mighty Max one. I mean, legit. I the Polly Pockets looked cool too. It was an interesting toy design for the time. That's funny. Okay, cool. I'm glad at least some people were watching this then. um, where are we at? Okay, so it's loading 50 or 42 frames. We still have 250 frames left to go. I don't know. Do I want to wait? Do I want to end the stream here? Let's go ahead and just end it here. I guess if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I will have this up on OpenSea, uh, if not tonight, tomorrow morning. And I'm testing the waters with the NFT stuff. I don't know if who knows if this is going to go anywhere. It seems like you really have to promote your artwork in order to even make any money off this stuff. So we'll see what happens with it. So I will go ahead and just end the stream now. Thank you for watching and have a good night or day wherever you are.